horror film that is controversial that I don't think you saw, Alan.
I did not see it.
Okay. Skinamarink is about two kids who wake up in a house and their parents are missing. They can't find their parents. The windows are gone and the doors are gone. It's weird. And you see from the point of view of the kids, and by point of view, I see it's almost like a video game in Skinamarink. You see the backs of the kids' heads, and you're kind of going around the house, and you hear noises in the house, and you hear the kids asking questions, talking to someone. And the thing about this movie is that it is not a traditional narrative film. It came out from IFC Films. I'm going to assume IFC Midnight, which is their horror branch. And Skinamarink is an hour and 40-minute experimental film that seems to lack a story on the surface and kind of it requires the viewer to read in things that may or may not be there. Now, I didn't see the movie in a theater. I saw it on video on my. I have a decent television, decent setup, but my friends who saw it in the theater hated this film, hated the movie. In fact, half the people that went to see it in my movie meetup group walked out of the movie. And if you look at the ratings, it's got a 2.2 on IMDb, and it's divisive. It's mostly 1-star ratings, and then I'd say about half of that are 5-star ratings. This is another one of those movies like Babylon that you're either going to love or hate. And I'm in the mind of, I kind of really enjoyed this film. But here's the problem, is the way that the film is being sold as a work of genius, brilliant, rush out and see it in the theater. No. There is one proper way to see this movie, because what I enjoyed about the film is the fact that it doesn't tell you what's going on. It doesn't really explain things or lead you around. There isn't a story. And I've just, having watched experimental films at film festivals for years, I appreciated the sort of, abstract nature of the movie. All the footage is very grainy. You see suddenly they're on the ceiling. What is going on? You hear voices. And I've seen videos that try to explain some sort of conspiracy theory, or not conspiracy theory, but a theory about what's actually going on in the movie. I don't think any of them are right. I think whatever you think is going on in the movie, that's your interpretation. I kind of think that that's what the filmmaker intended was, you decide what the movie's about. I don't know. Some have even suggested that the movie is kind of like Beetlejuice, in the sense that there's the living world on one end, and then on the other end is the disembodied world of the dead, and the children in Skinamarink are either dead and don't know it. They're not dead, and they're talking to their recently deceased parents from the other side, the spirit world, or they're talking to a demon that's trying to lure them into this other realm. And I look, I'm not going to tell you it's the greatest movie ever. I'm telling you, once I sort of gave into the fact that this is an experimental abstract film, not a traditional horror movie. There's not like jump scares. There's not like, there could be things considered jump scares. There's not a typical story, and there's not even a narrative that you can figure out. This movie, and I'll tell you, this is the best way to experience this movie. Listen to me. The best way to experience Skinamarink is not to see it at the movies. The best way to experience Skinamarink is not to watch it on your television at 7 at night. The best way to experience Skinamarink, and this is the Skinamarink challenge, put this movie on before you go to bed. There's a lot of videos that if I'm having trouble sleeping, I'll put on these videos that are just pitch black, but you hear the sound of rain, and they're like 8 hours, and I'll wake up, or the sound of waves crashing, like these sort of, I'm going to use this word wrong. Is it somnambulistic? Like som meaning sleep, somnambulistic. I can't look it up right now. Any case, it sort of lulls you to sleep. Skinamarink, if you put it on at midnight or 1 a.m. before you go to bed. And then here's what's going to happen. You're going to wake up in the middle of the night, and you're going to see other things happening on the screen, and it's going to freak you out. when I was a kid, and not everyone's going to relate to this. When I was a kid, I used to watch monster movies late night on television. I tried to stay up to watch Saturday Night Live. I wanted to stay up past 11 p.m. It was like a challenge when you're like 7 years old, 8 years old. But the thing that scared me was waking up in the middle of the night to a fuzzy screen because TV was gone. The day was over. And that's what this movie plays on. It plays on this primal instinct of things that we fear, and the fact that nothing is explained in this movie. This is not a spoiler. It could be considered a spoiler. And this movie's not rated, by the way. It's not rated R. It's not, it doesn't tell you what's going on. It doesn't explain anything. It's completely bizarre and abstract. And the fact that you could just put this movie on late at night and wake up later and you're like, what the hell's going on? It will freak you out in the same way that a fuzzy television screen freaked me out as a kid. It plays on that. Also, the sound design. And there are a couple shots where you're like, what am I seeing? Is this a gateway to hell? Like, it doesn't tell you anything. And that I love about it. This movie is not for everybody. So this is a warning. While I'm telling you, I really enjoyed the film because I think that I understood what the filmmaker was trying to tap into, which is this bizarre experimental experience. It's more of an experience. This isn't a movie. I think it was a huge mistake to open this movie in the theaters. Because I don't think it plays well in the theater, but putting it on late at night before going to bed will blow your mind and freak you out. Let's go to thoughts in the
I'll
chat.
just say you've not sold me on this movie at all.
Well, that's no. I'm
Yeah.
I'm saying it's a warning. This is what this movie.
Yeah. But it's like it's if you're gonna make me see a horror film, I don't want to have to keep working for it, you know. And I feel like for me to figure out this movie and what's going on is a lot of work. And you know, I'll grant that in some cases, but you know, at some point, you know, you do just want to go to the movie to kind of check out and you know, and have a story kind of be told to you as opposed to figuring it out in a way that doesn't feel like it solves it at all or that there's any resolution.
Here's the problem. The filmmakers didn't sell it like this. All they sold it with was quotes.
Yeah.
They sold it with quotes. And I think that's such a huge mistake to sell it with like the greatest horror movie. And I'm seeing these quotes and I know some of these outlets and I'm like, bullshit. It's not that. It is literally like a screensaver that will freak you out. A screensaver that'll just blow your mind and freak you out. So I want to know, first of all, great t-shirt today, Alan.
Oh, thanks.